stamping friends, it's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. Today I have a simple watercoloring, I don't know if I want to call it a technique or just watercoloring tips to share with you. If you follow me, you know that everything I do is easy. I try to make it as non-complicated as I possibly can, and watercoloring is no different. You know, I think sometimes watercoloring people are afraid of it because it just seems too hard. Well, you got to keep it simple. And when you keep it simple, you can get great results. And you know, some people like to say it's very therapeutical just to kind of sit there and watercolor. So I'm going to show you how I do my quick and easy watercoloring, and hopefully you'll want to give it a try as well. So before we flip the camera down, just a welcome to those of you that are brand new and are finding me for the first time. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. I bring quick and easy card making videos usually 2 times a week. So right down there, you can subscribe. And then I also always link my videos back to my website. And over there, I'll have pictures of the projects that I share with you today, as well as what I call the card recipe, which is simply just all the cutting instructions, as well as a complete list of the supplies. And then if you'd like to order anything, thank you in advance for picking me to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Okay, that's enough chit chat. I'm ready to get stamping. How about you? Let's flip this camera down and let's get started. Are you ready to see how easy it is to watercolor? I hope so, and I hope you'll give this a try. I've got quite a few little tips for you here, and then I got 3 cards that I'm going to share with you. Now, the stamps we are using are the Simply Succulent stamp set that is in the January to June mini catalog. If you don't have a copy of that catalog and you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to send you one. Just hop over to my website. Again, the link is down in the video description. And up on the top, just click on Request a Catalog. Now, this is part of a bundle. So here I have the dies. We have this really nice big overlay die. Plus there's several dies that will cut out our images. Love all these label pieces. And then a couple other ones that these just kind of cut out succulents themselves. And you'll see how I use those here in a second. So let's put that aside. Now I've done some pre-stamping. I have a piece here of watercolor paper. When you watercolor, you really want watercolor paper. It's designed to take that water without like kind of fuzzing up and getting all icky, and it won't warp and all that stuff. So you really want watercolor paper. You also need to stamp with StazOn ink. This is a permanent ink, unless you have the old Stampin' Up! Archival ink, that one's good as well. But you need something permanent that's not gonna bleed and run when we add water to that. Then, when you use StazOn ink on your stamps, you want to make sure you use the StazOn cleaner to clean it off, because it does stain your stamps pretty good. So I like to clean them off right away to make sure I get all of that black off. So let's set that aside. And like I said, we're pre-stamped here. So we're just ready to watercolor, which is what I really want to share with you today. We are using the water painter. Now this comes in a pack of 3. Stampin' Up! Used to sell one called the Aqua Painter. You may have those. Now they call it the water painter, and it comes in a pack of 3 with different size tips on it. And you just fill the barrel with water. Now a fun little tip to share with you, because it's kind of hard to put that under the faucet. Plus my stamp room doesn't have water down here. So what I did a long time ago, I bought, it's a hair color applicator bottle from the beauty supply store, and I cut the tip to make it pretty big. And I just keep this full of water, and it works perfect just to stick that in there and fill up my painter, my water painter, without spilling it. So there's a little tip for doing the water painter. And then the screws on backwards always, so we'll screw that on. Now when you use these, you'll see it even says push right there for us on both sides. So when you first start, you're going to want to push on the 2 sides there where it says push until you get some water coming out. So we've got that going. A piece of paper towel here. Now I like to use my re-inkers. So for this one, I am going to just take and put several colors of green. Okay, so we've got garden green, and what's this one? I think old olive. Now, it works good just to put it on my block. I could put it on a clear plastic plate, or you just want something it's not going to absorb into, so a hard surface. There's Pear Pizzazz. I don't know if I'll even use all these colors, but we'll put them on there. So just put a dot of each one. And then we're going to use some rich raspberry because we're going to kind of color the tips of our succulents as well. So they all kind of look the same there. We'll have to make sure we know which one's which when we get going. Now, if you don't have re-inkers, another thing you can do is take your stamp pads, your Classic inks, and squeeze them really hard. Now, I will admit these newer style pads, it's almost impossible to squeeze them hard enough. So I actually put it upside down and I put a ton of pressure on the back of it. And then when you open it, let's see if we get this one open, you'll see it puts ink on the lid there. Whoops. So I can take my water painter and pick up that ink as well and add some water to it. I just like to make sure I wipe it off then with a piece of paper towel if I've added water, so we're not putting a bunch of water onto our ink pad when we close it. So now remember, there is no right or wrong way to do this. This is just kind of my way to try to make it as quick and easy as I can. So I like to start by making sure I've got some good flow of that water coming, not too much. And then I'm going to color my image in with water. Now I know you can't really see that, but spread water. That will just make the ink flow a little bit better when you go to put it on. And then I don't remember which color is which, so we're just going to mix this one a little bit. So all I'm doing is I'm adding some water, kind of diluting it down, keep that water flowing, and then we're going to come back here. And you notice how I'm kind of like just touching each spot. And if there's enough water there, it's kind of going out within the petal. You see that? You know, I think the thing with watercoloring is let the water do the work for you there. And if you ever feel like you have too much water going on, you can dry your brush. You can actually pick some up. You can even dab on there if you want to, if it's too wet. But by going kind of section by section, or in this case, petal by petal, it kind of contains the ink in that area. And it starts making it look more like, you know, individual leaves or petals or whatever we want to call them here. So I think we've got the old olive here. So let's just go ahead, and as we color in all of that, the other thing with watercoloring is don't try to fill everything in completely solid. You want, you know, little specks of white. It's okay if you go out of the lines. That's kind of what watercoloring is all about. Now, what we're going to do is take this rich raspberry. We're going to water it down quite a bit, get some on the tip there, and then what I did is I just came and I kind of touched each tip. And see how it's spreading? A little bit goes a long way. You know, if you see succulents, they a lot of times the tips are kind of that reddish, purplish, you know, different colors. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. But I'm just dabbing it. That's all I did to color that in. And then when it dries, it's going to be our succulent. So I'm going to just do one more. Let's do a little one here. What you want to do is make sure you squeeze and clean out that brush in between if you're switching colors. We'll do this one a little bit different. You know, each one's going to turn out completely different, which is kind of the beauty. Okay, that's nature at work, right? So for this one, we're going to just use, I think this one's a little bit lighter. I think this is Pear Pizzazz. So, you know, I kind of, see if you get too much, add some water, pick some of it up. You know, I got lots of different shades going in there. Keep a little bit of white. And then if you want to, you can bring in, let's see that green. Let's see, here we go. Let's put this green. So if I want to mix my greens a little bit, we'll put a little bit of green down on the end there. I'm going to give it a little bit of depth. We'll add some there. Like I said, no right or wrong way. You know, the other thing I tell people, have your hand, and a watercolor artist taught me this, have your wrist just kind of floppy. Don't be like real stiff like you're trying to color in perfectly, because that's what's not going to let you just let the color flow. That's it. That is how easy I watercolor. I think I was playing on this piece. Oh, here I was doing one of the what do I say? Pots. Okay, so I don't think I have that color here, but again, I'll use the rich raspberry, see what that looks like. So again, we're going to paint this in with water. You know, it just kind of helps that ink flow. Okay, then we'll pick up some of this, make sure it's kind of watered down. We're going to start over on this left side. Ooh, this could make a really pretty pot. And I'm just spreading it, but see how the water kind of takes it? And again, don't fill it in solid, and we'll maybe come back and Put a little bit more right there. And out of the lines is okay, especially when you're going to cut it out. And there we go. We'll let that one dry. So let me show you some cards that I made after I watercolored a bunch of pieces. And when I made them, this is what I did. I just stamped a whole bunch of pieces on a piece of watercolor paper. Then I cut them out and I went ahead and put some cards together. So let's look at the cards. So this first one, you'll see we just two of the little succulents, but here are these two pieces that you can cut out with your dies. So they're not stamped, they're just cut out of cardstock. And then there is our pot, little bow. I did stamp crumb cake on top of crumb cake for this layer. And then on these first three cards I have, I did white embossing on black. I love to do that. I like the look of that. I'm not going to show you how to do heat embossing in this video, but if you do not know how to do it, I have quite a few videos where I do it. So just leave me a comment. We'll share a link to one if you'd like to see how to do that. So there's the first one. Now the second one, again, after I colored all those pieces, I just cut them out. I cut out a bunch of, the other little pieces, and I started putting them together. And I love this. Kind people are my kind of people. Great greetings in the stamp set as well. Now, I will have all of these cards over on the website. The link to the specific blog post is down in the description. That way you'll be able to go over there and grab the card recipes. If you'd like to see all of the products and colors and cardstock and everything that I used, it will all be shown over there. And then if you'd like to place an order for anything, it'll be real simple for you. So I think this is my favorite. This is that great big image, lots of different succulents. That was one when I said it was kind of therapeutic. I just sat here and colored, and you can see, several different greens I used in them. Kind of did the tips on that one. So there's those three. Well, then I had to keep going and play with the dies a little bit. So this one, I just stamped our pot on a piece of crumb cake and cut it out. So other than that, it's the only stamping other than our words. But then I just used a bunch of those pieces. This could be a great masculine card as well. And then card number 5, here is that really nice detailed overlay piece that you can do. And I just put it over my card base, put a couple of the succulents that I had colored along with a greeting. So there you go. I have 5 cards using the Simply Succulents bundle. It's hard to say. And again, I'll have pictures of all 5 along with the recipes for all 5 over on that blog post. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I am a full-time demonstrator. I love helping and sharing with everybody and teaching how to make quick and easy cards. So let me know if I can help you in any way. So until I stamp with you again, have a stamp happy day.